live, guys. Welcome back to the Charlotte Outdoors podcast. I'm your host, Toro the Magi, and who I have with me this time is a poet, spoken word poet out here in Charlotte, North Carolina. This is a poet named Superman. Pretty nice dude. I've seen his work. I've been to one of his events out here at Red 28th, and we're just gonna talk about the craft and like life and just how he got to this position. And I just want to like open him up just to see. We don't ask a question today. But it's just we just chilling, like we just doing things. But first of all, like how you doing today?
I'm good. It's been a rainy day in more ways than one, but
Yeah, it is pouring outside right
now. It's pouring outside. But, it's bright in here though.
Yeah. Gotta keep it bright in here.
Yeah.
Life ebbs and flows, and it does what it needs to do. So, I wanted to give this like a nice calm space for you to talk about things and everything. So I'm actually a rapper too. So I'm like in the speech craft, word craft type of artistic position. So I do like to like talk to other people, like kind of like I can relate to you guys a little bit more than maybe another person
right
may do that. May be able to do. So it's cool. So how did you get into poetry and everything?
So I've always had an appreciation for poetry. My parents kind of raised me on that. We're all musicians. So growing up in a house where, if it was quiet and if something was wrong, you get to hear all different types of things, right? So with poetry, I listened to a lot of the Last Poets, a lot of Gil Scott-Heron recordings. And, they would give me books to read, Maya Angelou, a whole bunch of people, that's just how it was growing up as a kid. And then I got into writing and spitting poetry through peer pressure in college.
Interesting.
Yeah, I did not think that I would ever be a poet. I was a numbers guy. So, I was on the math team, I was on the physics team. In high school. I went to school initially to build roller coasters. So I went to school for architectural engineering. And it didn't work out, needless to say. But yeah, it was peer pressure. It was a bunch of my friends. They were writing poems against each other. It was the girls against the guys. And they were like, I think it was the girls' side that did it first. They were like, Greg, you're really smart. Help us with this poem. Like, tell us what to say to them. And then the guys were like, yo, Greg, help us with this poem. You really smart. And then they both sides pretty much found out what I was doing. So they were like, well, now you got to write one. You got to write a poem. like, no, I don't. Like, no, I'm just figuring out how to piece y'all together. And I wrote one, and it felt good. And I read it to my friends. As much as it felt good to write that poem, I hated it. I hated it immediately. But I showed it to my friends. They loved it. They said I should write another one. And then that's how I started writing. Yeah, that's how I started writing.
It's funny that you started out with like more like on the mathematics side of things. I do feel like life is math and everything, and really you can see the math in it might not be actual numbers, but you can see it. But it's like
all formulas. It's all formulas. That's how I view my art anyway, or how I write and how I try to construct pieces. I try to figure out what the formula is and what the variables are and all that stuff. Yeah.
Speaking of variables,
I
had to bring the bars in here real quick. But like speaking of variables, like I feel like that was a pretty major variable that really kind of like got you like change the trajectory of your life or anything. Like, do you think that what do you think you would be doing right now if you weren't like really like doing your poetry?
Honestly, probably be working at a bank somewhere. Like I'd probably get a 9 to 5. I don't know. I don't know what else I could possibly do other than this. I don't see myself as anything else, which is weird.
Dang.
Yeah, it's so weird now. Like I'm immersed in it now. You know what I mean?
There probably wasn't a point where you were like still like dipping your toes, and you're like, there's so many other things that you could be doing. That was at the top of the mind at that time.
There were so many. Like at that time, I had no idea what I was doing. Like poetry was just an outlet. I was just happy to express myself. You know what I mean? Because I didn't have the chance to really express myself the way that I wanted to, or I couldn't really speak like that. You know? Or if I didn't have the confidence to speak like that for whatever reason. So like being a spoken word artist and being a poet now, it's like, yeah, like
Polar opposite.
Yeah, polar opposite, man. Like almost same thing in school. Like I think I got like a D, or I failed public speaking in college, man. Like, and now like I'm an orator. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
That's funny.
yeah, it's wild. It's wild how life comes at you, man.
The reason I like say that is because like I'm kind of like the same way. Like I never, like I feel like I've had this like want to be like subconsciously like to do something in speaking, but like I always felt like I couldn't like put words together the right way. Like I felt like I can't speak in front of people. I feel like I was gonna fumble over my words, and then like I started rapping, and then I'm like, okay, there's something there, and then I just started kind of just talking to more people, being put in more uncomfortable situations.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh shoot, this is actually something that I actually do want to do. And I was like,
Yeah.
never thought that I would want to do something in this realm, but now I'm here. Shoot, it's making work and everything.
Yeah, yeah. We're making it shake. We're making it shake.
Speaking of making things shake, let me stop. So like, why did you come to Charlotte first of all?
I was at another pivotal point in my life where I was transitioning out of living in Orlando, Florida, and moving back to New Jersey. I got into a real bad car accident. Let's put it this way. When I woke up, after the crash was over, when I woke up, my feet were hanging out of the windshield and I was sitting on my sunroof. So the car overturned with me in it. Yeah, long story. Not going to get into that. But that crash prompted me to go back home to Jersey. I had no choice. So my parents, and speaking with my parents, and they're like, hey, you know, you'll be back in Florida in like 6 months. You know, that you're trying to build a life there for yourself. And, you know, I had just started to like, there was a spark of me doing poetry out there. Like, I mean, like being a spoken word artist. Because I was just writing a lot in Florida. Yeah. I was writing a lot, but I wasn't really speaking a lot. That was weird too. But I was just starting to like meet other spoken word artists, and then the crash happened. So I'm like, oh, nah, I got to go back down there. And I wound up being in Jersey for 2 years. I got stuck. I got stuck in the cycle of being, you know, back home. And at the time, at the age that I was in, you know, I was at another pivotal point where I was like, all right, Greg, now what are you going to do? Where you want to go? How do you want to define yourself as a man? You can't do it here. You know, you see what happens with people that, you know, that stay here. It's not to say that I'm from a bad place. It's not to say that at all. I just know that my life was more than what I've seen in that space. And that's not a knock to anybody that's still there now either. I just knew there was something different for me.
Yeah.
I just didn't know where. And I had a cousin. Her name was Sharon, who lived out in Davidson. She was a pediatric dentist.
Yeah.
With her own practice.
That's cool.
Yeah, she was cool as hell. Oh wait, can we curse? I didn't know.
I know we're looking at what's curse on here, but
cool.
Try to keep it as low as possible.
Cool. Bet. Thank you for letting me know because I was gonna. Yeah,
He's about to go
I'm about to go out. Let me tell you. No, I'm just playing. But no, she was cool. I'll get out. But she hears about what's going on with me. She was like, hey, come down to Davidson, stay in my house for a little bit and get out of here. And I'm like, yo, I'll think about it. And then around that time, I started doing slam competitions out in Jersey. I started performing like in competitions. And initially, I thought a slam was like an open mic, like another word for open mic.
Yeah.
So my first experience of performing consistently was in competition, and I didn't really know it. I was like, oh, okay. Yikes, there's people that judge me. Wait, I don't want them to judge me. I just kind of want to say my art and that be it. But oh, I signed up for it. Nah, let's do it, you know? I lost bad that first time.
Nah,
but I got a taste of like competition. I'm like, maybe I could do this. You know, maybe this would be something that could really help me out. And I got really good at it. And in 2012, the national poetry competition was in Charlotte.
Yeah.
So not only is my cousin saying like, "Hey, yo, come down here," the art is like, "Hey, yo, come down here." So it's like, "Oh nah, all right, I kind of have to be in the city," and it's also like cost of living. Like it just made sense. Everything just aligned in order for me to be here, and I moved here August 2012, and I've been back and forth a little bit, but August 2012 to December 2023.
History. And
Man, a little bit of history. Well,
I mean, you achieved some success here while you've been here.
I've achieved a couple of things. Yeah. It still bugs me out to know that I've achieved certain things. Actually, all the things. I really like. I have to do better with appreciating all the things that I've done.
Yes, like
because everybody else will say it for me, but I won't say it myself. It's a weird thing that I have. Like it's some weird form of humility, but like not really. I don't know how to describe that.
I kind of feel you like as an artist, like you don't want to be like arrogant or like you don't want to. You want to. I feel like the purity has to be shown through in the way that you act and the way that your art is presented and everything.
Yeah.
Sometimes like indulging in like giving yourself some of that respect, like saying like you got this, like you're doing things out here. It kind of makes you feel like you're like, hey, like being arrogant, like you're better than everybody, and like it makes you feel kind of impure. And I don't know, like like remember like like you're doing good things. Like you got what did you win? The Queen City Awards. Like you've been out here doing things. Like you've been out here doing things. That's all I'm trying to say. Like
that's fair.
One of the things that I did actually really recently I've just started like really journaling kind of seriously about every single day, and like I wrote down like I was like remembering like okay literally last week 2 weeks, what are some small things that you have done to like improve yourself, like some actual accomplishments, like okay you started like a little bit of a routine, check. All right, you're doing a little bit better with your eating habits. All right, check. Like it's not even like okay, you lost 50 pounds. It's like all right,
it's like now like day by day or like hour by hour. Like what did you do? Like just something small. Like yo, I woke up and I said a prayer or
yes,
that type of thing.
That's amazing though. Like I feel like but as artists like we all have our own. Like I feel like we all are kind of like you can't fit us inside of a box, like especially like mentally, because like I think it does take some neurodivergence, some neurally deficient in some areas for us to exceed in certain other areas.
That's fair.
Especially creatively and everything.
That's fair. No, I agree.
Oh man, we got you out here too, like kind of talk to us about like no matter how you think about yourself, just kind of like your whole entire journey and everything. So,
my journey. My journey as an artist has been a very unique one. I'll put it that way. I have gone through so many phases over the years, just not only dealing with the duality of being Greg and a poet named Superman, not only dealing with what comes with the presence that I provide on stage and off the stage. Like it's so many layers to this, like that is crazy. So with the journey, I've learned a lot. Like it wasn't so much a checklist, it was so much like side missions, right? I would have a goal in mind.
Yeah.
Have the checkpoint, like, all right, we heading over here. This is where we're going, this is what we're gonna do. And then along the way, I'm learning, like I'm completing like side missions and like, oh wait, yo, you can do this slam here. Oh, hey, you can write this kind of poem right here and it can completely change the game. Hey, I know you never thought about doing something like this, but submit a poem for like a magazine or something like that. Like completely little side missions like that, or like, hey, apply for this festival. You should apply for this festival. You should. And it grew and grew and grew. So it was like, it was almost like I was completing like a video game of some sort. So like, yeah, I had goals in mind, like big goals, and like I would obtain those, but it was really like the side missions that really like leveled me up.
Yeah, like that's like the whole thing. Like it's the that's a good mindset to have about it because I feel like
Yeah.
as artists, like with us being artists, our art is going to be put on display. You know,
Hmm.
people are going to see it. It's gonna acquire some like eyes on us. So as a result, you might get a little bit of fame and a little bit of eyes, and you're able
Hmm.
to balance that instead of saying the just the goal of like maybe whatever your goal is, maybe that's part of it, like just notoriety. But it's also like the little tiny things that might not, it's like little steps, little steps, little steps. You're still able to see all the little steps and the value in those, and like it gives you a little bit of happiness from that, and like it all
Yeah.
comes together.
Yeah,
The whole
yeah,
entire
yeah,
picture
yeah,
and
yeah.
everything.
It all makes sense in the end. It's so weird how how all these different levels can just or all these different pieces can really jigsaw together. It's insane. I've been able to do and experience some crazy things that I would not have been able to if I wasn't a poet.
Mm.
I was down bad, like down real bad. I was
Do you
living
want
out.
to talk about that? Oh, you talking
Yeah,
about it right
yeah, I'll
now?
talk about it. I'll
Shoot.
talk about it. Uh, I was living out of my truck, and a lot of people didn't know this. A lot of people didn't know I was living out of my truck. But sometimes I would like pull up to a friend's house and be like, "Hey, man, you got a couch I could crash on real quick," and they wouldn't know my situation. But all throughout this time, I am working the job. I'm working at a restaurant. I never worked in a restaurant before, but I had no choice. But I'm working at a restaurant and I'm trying to start up an open mic. Like,
Dang.
what is wrong with me?
You're like, bro, like,
Like, come on,
partner.
like, come on, bro, get a job. Like, nah, like, my mom was like, come on. And I'm like, well, yeah, you're right. I'm gonna apply for here. Also, let me see if I can slide in this open mic just so that I can still do my heart and be happy because I know my happiness is really important right now.
Mm.
I'm down bad. So if I don't keep this and this straight, everything else is gonna like I'm never gonna get out of my hole. I'm already in the hole. Everything is already down bad. But I still feel the need to maintain this and this. So poetry does that for me. Um, being a spoken word, being an artist does that for me. And I know that it could do that for other people. So let me create something, a platform to where people can come and when they're down bad like me, they can tap into something and keep their mental and keep their spirit in check.
Mm.
So then starts Release Therapy Open Mic at Reddit 28
Oh, wow.
in 2016.
It's a long running one now. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. In February, it'll be 8 years that we've been doing Release Therapy. It's one of the longest running open mics in the city of Charlotte.
Mm.
Shout out to Red, by the way. But yeah, that was a pivotal moment because through that I was able to meet a whole bunch more artists than like
Oh, yeah. Like these.
and then like there were groups that were coming from it. Like I was part of a group called the Queen City Collective, and we traveled, man. We went everywhere. We went to Dallas, Texas, from Dallas, Texas to Birmingham, Alabama to Atlanta like 6 times to DC to ECU. Like we went all up and down the coast, man. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm working at a restaurant, living out of my car, bouncing couch to couch, and it's moments like that are like some of the greatest moments and like some of the greatest memories I'll cherish for the rest of my life.
Mm.
But also perspective, right? Now it's like, all right, like we can't be in that space anymore. Like, yeah, the art is thriving, but
Mm.
personally, like we kind of have to get it together.
Yeah.
And that kind of hunger fuels the artist, right? When you're down bad, it's like, nah, I gotta make it. And then you're good, and it's like, all right, cool. What do I write about? I'm not struggling no more. I'm good. So like, do I write about the good? Nah, that's not hard hitting. People not gonna feel that because that's where everybody ain't. But nobody want to hear about you being good. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, so like, it's been a roller coaster, man. It's been a roller coaster. I feel like I'm rambling right now.
No, I just want you to like say honestly how you feel. I don't want you to like change anything.
I'm not gonna change anything. I'm just trying to process how we got here. How we got here.
Like, I can ask a question too.
Yeah. If you want to ask me a question, because I'm like, where do I go from here?
Yeah, like I feel I definitely love how you kind of just brought up like the as an artist, like the whole process of balancing my life, getting my life straight, and like battling the people where the doubters, maybe the doubt is within you as well. Like, am I doing what I should be doing? Should I just go get a job? Can I go to college? Should I do something like that? Or maybe should I pull back from my art some more? Like, be like I feel like, especially me, I've been like down and up with my art and everything, and trying to balance it with my life and everything. I'm going through it right now, but I'm figuring out things more and more, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting progress. And it's like whenever you focus in, like it's like a I don't know. For me personally, it's just been like going with God and just like figuring out, okay, bro, like you do have to cut out some of these things, some of these people, and then focus, learn how to focus on certain things. Like I was gonna ask you about like focusing on your goal because you got this Red 28th gig, like get you said 8 years already.
8 years. Good.
It's been long going, and still while the world has crumbled like inside, like around you,
Yeah.
and made this thing happen. Like what has kept you focused?
Um, the drive, the um, the drive, the purpose most of all. I believe my purpose is to use my presence and use what God gave me in order to help other people believe and tap into who they are and who they can be. Period. Right. But through this art is how I do that.
Yes.
Through this art is how I manifest that. But naturally, my purpose is to just be myself and be a shining example of what a human being is really capable of, no matter what your story is or what you've been through. So the fact that it was as successful as it was starting out, it was actually nope, I'm lying. It was that second year that it was like, oh, we are onto something. That first year was tough, but I was just so happy to be putting on like a show that I got the opportunity. I was so grateful.
Yeah.
It was like 5 people the first show that we did. Great. That's dope, and then, word of mouth kind of spread, and that was another thing. I was already performing at a show called Soulful Sundays at Reddit 28, but in a different location. So I kind of established myself as an artist before I established myself as a curator.
Yeah.
Because I had this spot where I was like the resident poet, so I was able to already kind of get my art off and like try new things, and then try to curate shows and everything like that way. So that kind of really bled into the open mic thing as well, where it's like, oh, like I can actually host too. Like I'm not a one trick pony. I'm not just yelling at people through my poetry. I can actually help people too. So that was also another dynamic of like where Release Therapy came from. Again, the drive, the purpose,
Like the want to be like the full dimensional, like
the want to help people, man. Like poetry saved my life, so of course it can save yours. Your art can save yours. You just got to figure out what it is. And you can do that here. I mean, if it's poetry, great, because we are a spoken word based open mic. But if it's something else, I mean, try it. Why not try it? And create a space where like it's welcoming, So like, there's levels, right? Like we understand, or at least I understand, that everybody got to start somewhere. So in terms of like entertainment,
yeah.
Some people are better than others, right? Better than others, or sound different than others, right? Some people have found their voice and just more experience in learning their voice and speaking in their voice because they found their voice than others.
Yeah.
So the main thing that I wanted to do with Release Therapy is to take those different people that are in those different walks in their artistry and bring them together, because all of us can learn from each other, no matter, like, respectively, no matter what level we're at. God, I know God level artistry, right? God
Yeah.
level, right? But I also know people that are like shy about like just speaking about their art in general.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that this person still can't learn from that person.
Yeah.
And that person can't learn from that person. Yes, it can.
Most definitely.
And everybody in between can. If you're in a safe space where you feel like you can be an artist and be cool. So I think that's where Release Therapy, like, that's what Release Therapy stems from. And I think that's what the hunger really stems from in terms of keeping the platform going, because as much as that was needed for everyone else, it was needed for me too. With the open mic starting, I started a writer's workshop on the same night.
Yeah. Oh shoot! Did you was that like impromptu, or you was like
No, that was the plan. The plan was to do a writer's workshop.
And I actually sat in one of those one time.
The Super Friends Writers Workshop before the Release Therapy open mic. And the reason why the open mic became so successful was because of the Writers Workshop. And I thought it was going to be the other way around. I thought it was going to be 5 people showing up to the Writers Workshop. And then, like, all these other people showed up for an open mic, because, like, that's what the city knows. The city knows poetry, and Poe's going to come out and rock the mic because that's what we do. And now it's the opposite. Artists didn't have the space with other artists where they felt like they could be themselves and not be in competition with somebody else. Or not feel intimidated. You know what I mean?
Feel that need that they need.
Hmm?
I said you feel that need that they need.
Yeah. But ironically enough, all I did was say, "Hey, y'all, just come write with me. Like, I got y'all. Like, just give me 1 second. We're gonna come up with a topic." But that's the most that I did. It was everybody that ever went to the writers' workshop. I could not run it without anybody. If it was me saying, "Hey, I'm running the writers' workshop," and no one show up, then the process would never prosper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The reason why it worked was because people felt comfortable to participate, and they did participate. It would not have worked if there were 500 people there, and I'm like, "Hey, y'all, let's do this, and they're all looking at me like, "No." You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's about like realizing like, yo, we are like, you can't do anything without other
I can't.
people.
Yeah, I can't do anything
Like,
without
I feel
other
like
artists, man.
that no matter what, like
No
if
matter
you're like
what.
a solo player, like you play basketball or something like that, like, all I do is 1v1s. You couldn't, like, without like the YouTube videos that you watched to learn how to get that
Yeah,
nice, without the
like,
trainer, without the people who built the gym
There's
that you go to.
Man, there's so many elements. And I think that's another reason why it's so important, like building a space for other artists to feel comfortable in, because sometimes the artists be your audience. They be the only people that really rock with what you do.
And then
because
they can,
understand.
that's what I was about to say. Like, they understand. They can give you better critiques than people who don't.
That's a fact.
And before we go on to that, I did want to talk about, we do have a sponsor for this episode.
Your word.
If you're looking at the visual version on YouTube, I'm wearing a shirt.
Hey.
This episode is sponsored by Frank Expression. He's another poet out here, spoken word poet. He also plays trumpet. But yes, he has this thing called the Expression Directory, which basically is a directory for artists, to poets or performing artists, to go ahead and find paid performance gigs, get some production experience, build like a little portfolio, and as well go to some business workshops to learn how to build your brand. He also has an open mic himself called the Wine About Poetry. This next one in January is going to be at the wine. What was it? Auto wine.
The auto pour?
The Auto Pour, you're right. Thank you for helping me out. But it's gonna be at the Auto Pour. You can go and pour some wine, listen to some poetry, listen to people perform music if they do that. But it's an open mic. You can go up and do your own stuff too. But yes, this is Frank Expression. His name on Instagram is FRANK_expression EXPRESSION. And yeah, that's his work right there. And we're gonna go back into the podcast and everything. Yeah, man, like, talking about like the whole process. I like when artists kind of move past like the only making my art to like the part of where they can actually provide and help more to
Yeah,
other
yeah,
people and
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
And that was like I feel like that's a character development. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
Is
Yeah,
there
in a way.
anything that like kind of like triggered that, or like you just kind of was always had that in the plan in the back of your head or something?
Um, I don't know. I guess I'm a kind of a pay it forward type of person. Um, but also I was in the search of like figuring out what my purpose was.
Mm.
So like by paying it forward, I figured out like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. You know, um, I am supposed to be the spoken word artist. I'm not supposed to be. Um, I'm not supposed to be low key.
Mm.
I'm not supposed to be. I'm a little bigger than what I thought I was, or this art, my placement in this art is a little bit bigger than what I thought it really was. So that was kind of it was kind of a shell shock.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when people that you really look up to were like respect you,
Mhm.
and then they're like, oh no, you need to come with me so you can spit in front of these people and be in these rooms. That's where it's like, oh wait, this is different. All right.
I didn't know it was that good.
Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't know that I was that. I was just speaking from. Oh, okay.
And I had a question like out of like you made a lot of pieces of the world over the years and everything. Have you like never decided on like what's your favorite so far?
My favorites change every year.
No, I was just asking like a
No,
question.
no, no, it's fine. I mean, that's a real question. I do have favorites. I don't have one just favorite. I'll have one favorite for like an extended period of time, and then I'll get tired of performing it, and then you won't hear it for a while. And then another one enters the room where it's like, oh, yeah, I really like performing this because it sounds different because I'm saying it from a different tone or different. I've experienced enough life now to where, the poem hits different. Or there's a new poem where I'm like, oh, this is what I'm sitting in right now. It's all about like how I feel. Um, it's all about how I feel in the moment. So, um, poem. My I was just having a conversation with a friend. They asked if my poems are like prayers, like if all of my poems are prayers,
Mm.
and I said yes, except for three of them. And they were like, "Why?" I was like, "Because they're erotic. They're like the three erotic poems are not. They are not prayers." And then they tried to say like, "Well, in the act, the spirits come together." I'm like, "No, there's no way. There's
Nah,
no
nah.
way you can spin this. No, no." But yeah, if all of my poems are prayers, then you there's a lot of feeling behind those.
Yeah.
And depending on what I'm feeling in the moment when I'm speaking it, that'll determine what's my favorite.
Words move people. And like that's why like I like wordcraft, like being in this type of artistic expression. Like it just I feel like for one it moves you. Like
Hmm.
like why do you specifically why do you paint? Why do you do your thing?
Hmm.
Like it's because me personally, like I feel like it's like a lot of my songs I just make them in order for me to like make a change in my own life or to help someone to make a change in their own life.
Hmm.
Like I feel like it's there to influence. Like that's what art is there for. Like it's to inspire people to make art, make a change in their own life,
Hmm.
make change to be happier in the moment. Like maybe you're at a club, you listen to a nice popping song, shoot, it's gonna make you feel good. Or like you're at home, you feeling think about something that's making you feel down and something that helped you get through it.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's a lot of I just like that ability for the art to just do that for people and like and you wonder that you actually like are like you're acknowledging that there are like prayers and stuff and like
Hmm.
it is because it feels that way. It's like it's energy moving. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah. It's a shift in the atmosphere. I mean, some of the toughest emotional battles that I faced was just because I was writing a poem. Because I had to face some stuff that I didn't want to face. And
Yeah.
the only way I could is if I wrote about it.
Yeah.
So like with those type of uh, moments happening, often you kind of get a sense of like some type of emotional intelligence or some type of awareness, and you know, you kind of start to learn how to navigate uh, through life, like as one with yourself. You know what I mean? I've been through a lot. I still got a lot of healing to do, um, but that don't mean I don't know how to do it.
Mm.
You know, and I'm a little less scared than I was the last time. You know, I've been in bad spaces or I've been in rough times. You know, each time I get better because I learn. I try to heal.
Mm.
So, um, as much as life tries to throw stuff at me, I try to write it out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And spit it out too, because that's important too. Sometimes, writing it just ain't enough. Sometimes you gotta say it with your whole chest too.
yeah. And like that's like something I've learned like as a artist. Like you gotta it's not even just like making like
It's
music
not,
or
yeah, it's not just
poetry.
making art. It's like, all right, what are you doing with it?
Hmm. And like what has that been like for you to like just all right, I have to I feel like when you make this type of art, it kind of puts you in the kind of more in the command center of your life, I feel. Like when because you understand things at a different level and how
You, you said the command center of your life. Man, that is a woo. I needed to hear that. That's crazy. I need to hear that right now. We're not gonna
Mhm.
talk about that, but anyway. Uh, um, man, you threw me off with that.
Damn, I'm sorry, man.
No, no, you're good because it's a great thought. It's a great feeling. It's like I said, being self-aware. It's probably one of my superpowers. Um,
And that's Superman.
um, because not only am I helping myself, right, I'm helping other people too, right?
Yeah.
But there is a sense of trust. Um, I think artists have trouble trusting themselves,
Yeah.
um, because the art don't hit the same every time for at whatever capacity, and it's just like no, like you got to just create, like you got to get to the next thing. You can't really compare, your pieces unless you feel like you're stuck in a rut and you're trying to get better. You know what I mean? But I always try not to be hard on myself with my art because at the end of the day, no matter how many people listen to it and judge it or compare it to something else, it's still mine. It's still mine. It's still a piece of me that I'm willing to give to people. And whether it's for me to let go of something or for somebody else to pick up what I'm trying to say and they carry that with them so that they can feel a little bit better about their lives, whatever it is, the purpose is for me to put this art out. And people take it how it is. And I can't be too worried because you can kind of worry about it. You might think about it like, oh man, I could have presented this better. Um, but when it gets down to like the nitty gritty, I love doing this. It makes me feel whole.
Mhm.
And if it didn't make me feel whole, then I probably wouldn't have been able to help other people feel whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it short. We had an amazing conversation, I feel. Um, Before we cut it off fully, do you have anything that you want the people to know about, like like I guess where to find you and stuff like that
Oh
coming up?
man. Well, first of all, my name is a poet named Superman. Hey, how y'all doing? Yeah, you got to say the whole thing. A poet named Superman, like a Tribe Called Quest, or a pimp named Slickback, or Judge Joe Brown, or since it's December, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. No, I'm just playing. Y'all can follow me on Instagram at a poet named Superman, or you can follow the page Release Therapy Open Mic. Both of those are all spelled correctly, all one word, so there's no dashes, no, you know, under man, what's the word? You know
Underscore?
what I mean. Underscores, yeah, thank you. So at A Pro Name Superman, at Release Therapy Open Mic. I don't know when this will be dropping.
This is gonna be in January.
This is gonna be in January. Great. So January, you know what? Don't worry about it. Every month I will be dropping a poetry showcase at the illustrious Dandelion Market uptown. So once a month, you're going to see some of the best poets that the city has to offer. We might, have some people coming to town too, but it's more so like a showcase instead of an open mic. So now we're kind of like elevating, the artistry in this city. So as things start to evolve and things start to elevate, so does the art too. So that's what the garden party is really all about. I'm trying to think of what else. Every Wednesday, I'm at Reddit 28, Release Therapy Open Mic, or Release Therapy Wednesdays rather, featuring the Super Friends Writers Workshop and Release Therapy Open Mic. February, we'll be celebrating our 8th year anniversary, one of the longest running spoken word based open mics in the city. And I think that's it. Yeah, I'll be around. I'll be around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a lot of things for us to chew on.
That's why you was like, yo, man, we're going to unpack. I'm like, this is a lot over here, boy. We ain't got enough time.
No, that's okay. Shoot, I mean, just stay tapped in. You listen to his poems, you'll probably hear a little bit more if you're interested in the story and who he is. Thank you guys for watching. Again, this episode is being brought to you by another fellow poet out here in Charlotte, which I'm glad. Frank Expression, like I said, he has his.
We love you, Frank.
Yeah, Frank is awesome. Like I said, if you want to improve yourself or get some more business opportunities in the poetry industry, he has the Expression directory, and he also has his own open mic, Wine About Poetry. So look him up on Instagram, internet. You can find him pretty easily. And we're gonna go ahead and end it up. This has been the Charlotte Artois podcast. This is your host, Tor the Magi, and like I said, we just got done with this poet named Superman. But yes, we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.